now it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today. I just met her this morning, just an amazing young lady, and she's going to share some of her thoughts with you. Her name is Amber Balkin. She is a third-generation race car driver from Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada. In 2016, Amber made Canadian history when she became the first Canadian female to win a NASCAR-sanctioned race in the United States. At 27 years of age, Amber has successfully utilized her racing platform to be one of motorsport's largest female influencers, inspiring and motivating others to pursue their dreams, break stereotypes, and have a positive impact on society. Amber was destined to be a winning driver. It was at the age of 10 when Amber started racing in North Dakota. I think I was eating mud at the age of 10. At age 16, after racking up countless victories, Amber competed as the youngest driver and the only female. Her talent, her professionalism, her marketability caught the eye of NASCAR. And in her first full season on pavement, Amber became the first Canadian female to win a NASCAR-sanctioned race in the US, as we mentioned. Driving for Lee Pulliam Performance, she earned herself 11 top fives, 7 top threes, and Rookie of the Year. Amber will star in a brand new NASCAR reality show entitled Racing Wives on CMT, and she will be driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports this season, so we'll be watching for her. If you would, please give a big Chippewa Valley welcome to Amber Balkin. Thank you, Amber.
He's a little taller than me. Just gotta fix this. Congratulations to all the students. That is awesome. I was a student once as well. I'll go a little bit more into it in my story, but I know that's a huge accomplishment, so congratulations to you guys. Thank you all for having me here today. I'm really excited to be here. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, which really isn't too far from here. I grew up racing on the dirt tracks of North Dakota and Minnesota, so Wisconsin is pretty close to home for me. I now live in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am pursuing my NASCAR dream, and I'm just really happy to be with you all today, so thank you for having me. So as you can see by my attire, I am a race car driver, but I really like to think of myself more as an entrepreneur. I know there's a lot of different people here today, whether it be entrepreneurs, business owners, students, and the unique thing about racing is, especially in the NASCAR, is it's really more of a business than it is a sport. And so you'll see why, even though I'm a race car driver, I see myself more as an entrepreneur later in my story. So I've been going to the racetrack since I was literally in my mother's belly. My parents met at the racetrack. My mom's father raced, and my dad actually still races to this day. My uncles raced, my cousins raced, so it was only natural for me to want to race as well. For years, I begged my dad to race, and when my mom was a girl, or when my mom was younger, she's always been a girl, but when my mom was younger, she really wanted to race too. Her brother raced, but back then it was not as common for female race car drivers, so her dad wouldn't let her do it. And my mom made sure that that wasn't going to happen to me. So after 10 years of begging my dad to let me race, my mom said we have to let her. My dad said, okay, that's fine, but there's going to be a couple conditions. Amber's going to need to pay for her race car and work on it. I'm not doing this for her. She's got to do it on her own. For me, all my cousins they didn't have to pay for their go-karts. My uncles did it all, so, at the time I thought it was a little unfair, but I wanted to race, and I was going to do anything to make it happen. So there I was at 10 years old, going to racing swap meets with my dad and selling stickers that I could find from his shop. Now, he took a commission, don't worry, but I would set up a little shop and sell stickers, and between that and finding a couple $100 sponsors here and sponsors there, I was able to buy my own go-kart. For those of you that don't know, racing is an extremely expensive sport, and the higher level you go, the more money it costs. Buying a go-kart was only about $1,000, but when I was 16, I moved up to the Lightning Sprint division, which is the yellow car there, the one with the wing on the top, and I had to buy my own race car then too. Then I was 16. It was only a couple thousand, or about $10,000 to buy that, but I still had to raise the money in order to do so. This was a hobby at the time. It wasn't my career. It was just something I really enjoyed doing, and I was still in school and trying to figure out, what I wanted to do with my life. Racing has always been a passion of mine, and for me, racing was my escape. It was my happy place. It still is my happy place. There's nothing more in the world that I love than racing cars. But for me, it was just a hobby at the time. I never thought I could actually make a career out of it. Even though everyone in my family raced, it was all for fun. It was all hobbies, and none of them made the switch to make it a career. And we were all just local dirt track racers, drinking beers on Friday nights and working from 9 to 5. But I'm actually the first person in my family to switch from dirt to pavement and make a career out of it. When I was first born, my mom used to joke to my uncle that, Amber's going to be the best race car driver of the family. You know that, right? And he's like, well, what do you mean? Is like, because she's a girl? It's like, no, well, she's double-blooded. Like, whoa, yeah, that's right. I have racing family from my mom's side because my grandfather raced, and my dad's side. And also, when I was being born, my dad was not in the delivery room watching me being born. He was actually in the waiting room watching NASCAR. So it definitely fits that I'm where I'm at now. So after high school, I did what most people do, and I went to college. I got my 2-year business diploma and went on to get my 4-year business diploma because, again, I didn't really think I could make a career out of racing. I just knew it to be as a hobby. About a month into university, my dad suffered from a major heart attack. And it really came to a huge shock for me. He was healthy, young, wasn't a heavy drinker, again, other than the Busch Lights, because we're redneck race car drivers. But, it just came to a shock to us because there's no symptoms. I'm an only child, so it was just me, my mom, and my dad at the time. My mom has multiple sclerosis, so I was used to being in and out of the hospital with her, but to see my dad go through that, I remember walking in to the hospital, and I didn't know what happened yet. My mom called me. I was studying at a friend's house, and she said, you need to come to the hospital. Your dad's in the hospital. And when I walked in, my dad was laying on a stretcher, and I heard him saying, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. As a young girl, as a daughter, hearing my dad say that, I've never heard him be so vulnerable. Not even vulnerable, but he is in a life-threatening position, and it scared me. It terrified me. It terrified both me and my mom. So because of this, I missed a few days of school. I eventually went back to university, and I was sitting in class one day, and I was a little behind because of the classes that I missed, and I was just sitting there really not paying attention at all to what the teacher was talking about, but just, thinking about why that had happened to him, and how short life is and how precious life is, and why aren't we all doing what we want to do with the day every single day? Why aren't we all living to the fullest? And then I started thinking, I was 21 at this time now, and I was thinking, well, what do I want to do with my life? I'm like, well, I definitely don't want to be sitting in this classroom, that's for sure. I'm like, I want to be racing cars. And right then and there, I had my aha moment. I want to race cars. I can't imagine doing anything else with my life than racing cars. I don't want to sit at a desk from 9 to 5. I don't want to work for someone. I want to race cars. I want to work for myself, and I want to see what I can do with this. So after this realization, I went home to my parents, and I sat them down, and I said, Mom, Dad, I want to drop out of school and pursue my racing career. And they looked at me like, what the hell? What? Where did this come from? And I was like, you know what? I just was thinking about it, and I really feel that this is what I'm meant to do. I really feel like I'm just meant to race cars, not only because I love it, but I feel that as a female in the sport, I have this responsibility to show other people that, we can do this, we can be successful. And my dad, the first thing he said to me was, we can't financially support this, right? And I said, yeah, I know, I understand. And he goes, well, this is gonna be really difficult, right? And I said, yeah, I know it's gonna be hard. By the way, I had no freaking clue how actually tough it was gonna be. It was not an easy career path, but he said, all right, well, you know the odds? I said, yeah, they're slim, and I know that, but this is really what I want. And my parents said, all right, if this is what you want, then we support you, we morally support you. And I said, thank you, that's all I could ever ask. And that conversation was a lot more profound now looking back than I ever realized. To have my mom and dad support me and stand beside me is something that I took for granted at the time. I didn't know how lucky I was. I knew that I was gonna have to do the work on my own. They weren't gonna do it for me. And I knew it was gonna be difficult, but from that moment on, I knew that I could move forward freely and live my dream. I learned really early on that no one is going to do the work for you. If you want something, you got to go get it, and you got to work really hard to get it. That conversation was about 5 years ago now, and today, I still get to wake up every single day and choose what I do with the day. Are there struggles? Absolutely. No day is perfect, and I still have had to overcome a lot of adversity in my career, but I still get to wake up every day and choose what I do with the day, and I think that is amazing. And I'm not where I want to be in my career yet, but I'm making the steps to get there, and the journey has not been boring, that's for sure. There's so many people that are unhappy in their lives, that are unhappy with the jobs that they're at because they listen to what their parents told them that they should do. They listen to what society norms are, what's comfortable, what's normal, and listen to their friends and families and every other opinion instead of listening to the most important one, their own. Your voice in your head is the only one that matters. We should never let the opinions of others dictate the decisions that we make for ourselves. We are the ones in the driver's seat. We're in control of the car. It's our life and our decisions to make. When it comes down to it, it's simple. Do what makes you happy and work for what you want. For me, racing is what made me happy. So all the other external stuff just didn't matter to me. I wasn't gonna let my age, my gender, the time frame, the lack of resources, lack of funding, I wasn't gonna let any of that stop me from going after my dreams and determining my path in life. Even if the odds were against me, I am a female in a male-dominated sport. I'm a Canadian in an American sport, and someone that doesn't have any money in a very, very wealthy man's sport. It was really scary at the time. I didn't even know how I was going to move from Canada to the U.S. and to how I was going to get my work visa to even be where I needed to be in Charlotte, the hub of NASCAR, to chase this dream. There was so much I didn't know how to do or what to do, but I knew I just had to go for it and kind of figure it out. It was scary, but what I learned was you don't necessarily need all the tools in the toolbox to build the life of your dreams. You just have to get really creative. You have to be resourceful. You have to look at your strengths and magnify your strengths and figure out what your weaknesses are and try to turn those into opportunities. We shouldn't be holding back on what we really want to do and pursuing our dreams, going after our goals just because it doesn't seem realistic. I fell into this too. That's why I went to school, because that's what everyone else was doing. That's what all my friends were doing. It was the realistic path, but it wasn't the path for me. And it's sad that it took seeing my dad almost die and lose his life for me to have that wake-up call to know what my purpose was in life. And, I mentioned before that I had a little bit of resentment towards my dad because he didn't help me. He was racing 20-something years, and at that time, I thought that he could have stepped back and helped me like my uncle did with my cousins. But now, looking back, I am so thankful he didn't, and I thank him now because he didn't help me. He showed me what work ethic is like. He taught me how to network and make good relationships with people. The amount of experiences that I've had, the relationships I've built, the things I've learned, the skills that I honed that I didn't ever think I needed to know before. Like, I know how to build a website now. Like, that's pretty cool. I didn't think I'd know how to do that. But I'm just so thankful for the way that it happened, because I know that I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be able to be speaking to all of you. I have a story now, and each one of you have the opportunity to write your own story as well. Even if I don't make it to the top series of NASCAR and racing against my car owner, Kyle Busch, I know that, I'll still have success in other areas, and the experiences I made, the people I met, everything is far outweighs the regret of not even trying to do this. Because without risk, there's no reward, and without effort, there are no results. You have to put the excuses aside, get out of your comfort zone, and put in the effort to go after what you want. I know that putting everything out there is really scary. There's judgment, and for me, the scariest part was that there was no guarantees, but there are no guarantees in life. One of my favorite quotes is by Jim Carrey, and he says, "You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love." And that's what I did. So thank you guys so much for having me here today. My biggest message here is just do what is best for you, do what makes you happy. It's so important to listen to ourselves and stay true and authentic to who we are and what we want in life, and not let other people's opinions get in the way. Don't let the fear of failure get in the way, because at the end of the day, we only have one life to live. This is your life, your story. You're in the driver's seat. Thanks, guys.
Let's give her one more round of applause. Thank you, Amber. Wow. Stay authentic, stay true to your dreams. What a great message. I think of John Maxwell when he was a young man. He was handed a book by a mentor of his who said that, take this book and read it carefully. He opened it up, and the title of it was The Greatest Story Ever Told. And he said, the pages are blank. And he told John Maxwell, he said, you fill this out with your story of the people you touch, with your gifts. And he said it was the greatest gift that he ever got, and he gives it to all the folks that he has mentored, and he has mentored thousands over the years. So thank you so much, Amber, for your great words, and we wish you all the success. We'll be watching you on your new show, of course, so thank you very kindly for being here.